Which of the following factors does not directly influence soil formation? Proximity to the ocean. কি বলছে soil formation is mainly affected by parent rock, climate, topography, organisms and time. Proximity to the ocean does not have a direct role. তাহলে soil formation is mainly affected by parent rock, climate, topography, organisms and time. Proximity to the ocean does not have a direct role. Next, how does surface relief or topography affect soil formation? By influencing drainage system. How does surface relief or topography affect soil formation? By influencing drainage system. কি বলছে topography controls water movement and drainage which affect erosion, deposition, soil depth, hence influencing soil formation. Next question. Which type of alluvium is predominantly found at the mouth of Ganga Brahmaputra rivers? Deltaic alluvium. Which type of alluvium is predominantly found at the mouth of Ganga Brahmaputra rivers? Deltaic alluvium. The Ganga Brahmaputra delta has deltaic alluvium formed by river deposition at the mouth where it meets the sea. Next, what is a key distinguishable feature of inland alluvium compared to deltaic alluvium? Inland alluvium is clayey and finer in texture. Inland alluvium is clayey and finer in texture. Inland alluvium forms in river basins and floodplains where fine silt and clay settle. Next, inland alluvium হচ্ছে clay আর finer in texture. Um, what is the primary origin of black soil or regur soil? Primary origin কোথায়? From the disintegration of lava rocks. প্রথম পেজটায় কি কি কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল যে কার উপর সয়েল ফর্মেশন ডিপেন্ড করে না, প্রক্সিমিটি টু সি এর উপর ডিপেন্ড করে না, বাকি সব কিছুর উপর ডিপেন্ড করে, যেমন টাইপ অফ পেরেন্ট ম্যাটেরিয়াল অর বেড রক, ক্লাইমেটিক ফিচার্স সাচ এস টেম্পারেচার অ্যান্ড রেইনফল আর প্রেজেন্স অফ লিভিং অর্গানিজমস। এটা এগুলোর উপর ডিপেন্ড করে, কিন্তু প্রক্সিমিটি টু সি এর উপর ডিপেন্ড করে না। তারপরে কোয়েশ্চেনটা কি ছিল? হাউ ডাজ সারফেস রিলিফ অর টোপোগ্রাফি অ্যাফেক্ট সয়েল ফর্মেশন? টোপোগ্রাফি কন্ট্রোলস ওয়াটার মুভমেন্ট অ্যান্ড ড্রেনেজ, সেই জন্য which affect erosion, deposition, soil depth, hence influencing soil formation. তারপরে কোয়েশ্চেনটা কি? which type of alluvium is predominantly found at the mouth of Ganga Brahmaputra river? Deltaic alluvium is predominantly found at Ganga Brahmaputra river. Ganga Brahmaputra delta মানে Sundarban region has deltaic alluvium formed by river deposition at the mouth where it meets the sea. Next, পরেরটা কি কোয়েশ্চেন বলছে? what is a key distinguishable feature of inland alluvium compared to deltaic alluvium? Inland alluvium is clay and finer in texture. Inland alluvium forms in river basins and floodplains. Fine silt and clays where fine silt and clay settle. Next, what is primary origin of black soil or regur soil? From the disintegration of lava rocks. ব্ল্যাক সয়েল আর রেগুর সয়েলের প্রাইমারি অরিজিন হচ্ছে from the disintegration of lava rocks. Black soil originates from volcanic basalt. Black soil বা রেগুর soil originates from volcanic basalt. Next, why is black cotton soil known as self-plowing soil? It naturally forms deep cracks when dry, allowing air, sunlight, and water to seep through. কি বলছে? Why is black cotton soil known as self-plowing soil? ব্ল্যাক কটন সয়েল বা রেগুর সয়েলকে কেন সেলফ প্লাউইং সয়েল বলে? তার কারণ ও নিজে নিজেই ক্র্যাকস ফর্ম করে, অ্যালাউইং এয়ার, সানলাইট অ্যান্ড ওয়াটার টু সিপ থ্রু। নেক্সট, আচ্ছা এটার আরো ডেসক্রিপশন দিয়েছে। ব্ল্যাক সয়েল swells when wet and cracks deeply when dry. This natural cracking helps in aeration, acting like self plowing. Next, what is the primary reason for the red color of red soil? High iron oxide content. Primary reason for the red color of red soil, high iron oxide content. Next, acha, the red color is due to the presence of ferric oxides. Next question, why is red soil generally considered infertile? It is deficient in nitrogen, lime, phosphoric acid, and humus. Red soil is deficient in nitrogen, lime, phosphoric acid, and humus. Next, this mode of transportation is best suitable for relief and evacuation processes. Airways. This mode of transportation is best suitable for relief and evacuation processes. Airways. Airways are the fastest and most effective means for rescue, relief, and emergency evacuation during natural disasters. Next, which of the following statements is not an advantage of roadways? Roads are actually more flexible, not less. Roads are actually more flexible, not less. So the statement is incorrect, hence not an advantage. So low roads are less flexible in terms of route and timing compared to rail and air transport. এই কথাটা একদমই ভুল কারণ road হচ্ছে more flexible. Not less. So this statement is incorrect and hence not an advantage. Next, which of the following statement is true about broad gauge in Indian railways? It comprises more than 70% of Indian airways and is used for long distance high speed trains for better stability. বলছে broad gauge is true about broad gauge in Indian airways. ব্রড গেজের ব্যাপারে কি সত্যি না 70% of Indian railways is used for long distance high speed trains for better stability. Next, which type of railway gauge is used in hilly areas of India such as the routes between Shiliguri, Darjeeling and Kalka, Shimla? Narrow gauge. Narrow gauge tracks are used in hilly and mountainous regions because they can easily negotiate steep slopes and sharp curves. Narrow gauge tracks are used in hilly and mountainous regions. Can because they can easily negotiate steep slopes and sharp curves. বলছে কি ধরনের which type of railway gauge is used in hilly areas of India such as routes between Shiliguri, Darjeeling and Kalka, Shimla? Narrow gauge tracks. কারণ ওরা steep slope আর sharp curve দিয়ে যেতে পারে. Next, which of the following is not an advantage of water transport? Water transport is affected by weather conditions, therefore it is not a true advantage. Water transport is affected by weather conditions, and therefore it is not a true advantage. Next, which of the following statements correctly describes inland water transport in India? Inland Waterways Authority of India. Inland Waterways Authority of India is responsible for the development, promotion, and regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. Inland Waterways Authority of India, IWAI, Inland Waterways Authority of India is responsible for the development, promotion, and regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. Inland Waterways Authority of India হচ্ছে কি করে is responsible for the development, promotion, and regulation of inland waterways for shipping and navigation. Next question, which of the following statements is true about Indian aviation industry? The civil aviation industry in India is one of the fastest growing industries and is expected to become the third largest air passenger market by 2024. কি বলছে the civil aviation industry in India is one of the fastest growing industries and is expected to become the third largest air passenger market by 2024. Indian aviation sector has seen rapid growth in both domestic and international passengers. কি বলছে civil aviation industry in India is one of the fastest growing industries and is expected to become the third largest air passenger market by 2024. Next, which of the following is not a disadvantage of air transport? Air transport can easily overcome physical barriers such as mountain ranges. Air transport can easily overcome physical barriers such as mountain ranges. This is actually an advantage, not a disadvantage. Airways can cross mountains, oceans, and deserts easily. Air transport বলছে can easily overcome physical barriers such as mountain ranges. This is actually an advantage, not a disadvantage. Airways can cross mountains, oceans, and deserts easily. What significant role did Air India play during COVID-19 pandemic? It offered evacuation flights to bring back stranded Indians from all over the world. What significant role did Air India play during COVID-19 pandemic? It offered evacuation flights to bring back stranded Indians from all over the world. এই কোভিড 19 এর সময় ওই এয়ার ইন্ডিয়া offered evacuation flights to bring back stranded Indians from all over the world under the Bande Bharat mission. In Air India conducted rescue operations to bring back Indian citizens from abroad during pandemic. এটাকে বলে বন্দে ভারত মিশন। নেক্সট Vande Bharat mission. Next, give reasons to explain each of the following. Roadways are the best for the distribution of milk and fresh flowers because roadways is quick, flexible, and suitable for short distances. It ensures perishable goods like milk and flowers reach market on time without spoilage. Coal and iron ore are the best transported by rail, because these are heavy and bulky materials that need to be moved over long distances economically. Railways are most efficient and cheaper for bulk transport. কি বলছে coal and iron ore are the best transported by rail because these are heavy and bulky materials that need to be moved over long distances economically. Railways are most efficient and cheaper for bulk transport. Next question. Airways is most preferred mode of transport in corporate sector. Cano? Because it is the fastest mode of transport, saves time and provides better connectivity for business executives between major cities and countries. Coal আর iron ore কেন best transported by rail? Because এগুলো হচ্ছে heavy or bulky materials that need to be moved over long distances economically. Railways are most efficient and cheaper for bulk transport. Are roadways কেন best for the distribution of milk and fresh powers? কারণ road transport is quick, flexible, and suitable for long distances. It ensures perishable goods like milk and flowers reach markets on time without spoilage. Next, in spite of being time consuming, waterways are still a popular medium of transportation. Cano? Because they are the cheapest, fuel efficient, and suitable for carrying bulky goods over long distances both within and outside the country. বলছে in spite of being time consuming হওয়া সত্ত্বেও waterways are still a popular medium of transportation. Waterways কিন্তু popular medium of transportation কারণ ওরা cheapest, fuel efficient, and suitable for carrying bulky goods over long distances both within and outside the country. Cheapest আর fuel efficient আর suitable কিসের জন্য? For carrying bulky goods over long distances both within and outside the country. Border question. An efficient network of transport lines forms the lifeline of a nation. Can an efficient network of transport lines can form a lifeline of nation? Because transport connects production centers with markets. ট্রান্সপোর্ট কি করে? প্রোডাকশন সেন্টারের সাথে মার্কেটকে কানেক্ট করে। ট্রান্সপোর্ট কানেক্টস প্রোডাকশন সেন্টার উইথ মার্কেটস। দিয়ে কি হয়? প্রমোটস ট্রেড। ট্রান্সপোর্ট প্রমোট করে ট্রেড। হেলথ অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশনে হেল্প করে। এনকারেজেস ন্যাশনাল ইন্টিগ্রেশন অ্যান্ড ব্যালেন্সড ডেভেলপমেন্ট। তাহলে ট্রান্সপোর্ট কানেক্টস প্রোডাকশন সেন্টার্স উইথ মার্কেটস, promotes trade, helps administration, and encourages national integration and balanced development. Next, rail network is not well developed in the northern mountainous states of India. Cano? Because the rugged terrain, steep slopes, and high construction cost make it difficult to lay railway lines in hilly regions. কি বলছে? Rail network is not well developed in northern mountainous states of India. Can because the rugged terrain, steep slopes, high construction cost make it difficult to lay railway lines in hilly regions. For a question, the northern plains have a dense network of transport lines, Cano, because the land is flat, fertile, densely populated, making it easy and economical to build roads and railway lines. Northern plains have dense network of transport lines. এটার কারণ কি? Because the land is flat, fertile, densely populated, making it easy and economical to build roads and railway lines. Next question. A good network of roads is required for the railways to work smoothly. কেন? কারণ roads help in carrying passengers and goods to and from railway stations. They act as feeders, F-E-E-D-E-R-S, feeders to railways. Roads কি করে? Help করে in carrying passengers and goods to and from railway stations. They act as feeders to railways. Next question. Water transport is relatively less developed in South India as compared to North India. Can? Because rivers in South India are shorter, have uneven flow, and are not navigable for long distances, unlike the northern rivers. বলছে water transport less developed southern ইন্ডিয়াতে নর্দার্ন ইন্ডিয়ার থেকে, কারণ সাদার্ন ইন্ডিয়ার রিভার হচ্ছে সব শর্টার, uneven flow এর কোনো ঠিক ঠিকানা নেই, not navigable for long distances unlike the northern rivers. Next question. Airports are built in cities and not in small villages because airports require large investments, better infrastructure, and sufficient passenger demand, which are available only in cities. এয়ারপোর্টস রিকোয়ার কি করে? লার্জ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট, প্রচুর ইনভেস্টমেন্ট লাগে এয়ারপোর্টে, বেটার ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার অ্যান্ড সাফিসিয়েন্ট প্যাসেঞ্জার ডিমান্ড which are available only in cities. Next question. Roadways advantages: provide door to door service and are suitable for short distances. Roadways are advantage ki door to door service that are suitable for short distances. Flexible in routes and timing, can reach remote and hilly areas. Flexible খুব route আর timing এ, আর এগুলো can reach remote আর hilly areas. Next, construction and maintenance are cheaper than railways and airways. তাহলে advantages of road transport: provide door to door service and are suitable for short distances, flexible in routes and timing, can reach remote and hilly areas, construction and maintenance are cheaper than railways and airways. এবার এয়ারওয়েজ এর অ্যাডভান্টেজেস, সরি রেলওয়েজ এর অ্যাডভান্টেজেস, প্রথম হলো রোডওয়েজ, এবার রেলওয়েজ. Railways most economical for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distances, safe, reliable, and suitable for all weather conditions, connects distant towns and cities, promoting trade and national integration. Railways key advantages: most economical for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distances, safe, reliable, and suitable for all weather conditions, connects distant towns and cities, promoting trade and national integration. Next, airways advantages: fastest mode of transport, saves time, especially for long distances, ideal for hilly, desert, and remote areas where other transport is difficult, useful for emergency services, rescue operations, and speedy delivery of goods. Airways are advantage keys: fastest mode of transport, saves time, especially for long distances, ideal for hilly, desert, and remote areas where other transport is difficult, are useful for emergency services, rescue operations, and speedy delivery of goods. Next, waterways advantages: cheapest means of transport, consumes less fuel, suitable for carrying bulky goods over long distances, environment friendly, and useful for both domestic and international trade. Waterways এর advantages কি? cheapest means of transport, consumes less fuel, are কি? suitable for carrying bulky goods over long distances, Are key environment friendly and useful for both domestic and international trade. এবার disadvantages of each of the following mode of transport. Roadways disadvantage not suitable for transporting very heavy and bulky goods over long distances. Traffic congestion and accidents are common, affected by bad weather conditions like heavy rains and floods. The disadvantages of roadways not suitable for transporting very heavy and bulky goods over long distances. Traffic congestion and accidents are common, affected by bad weather conditions like heavy rains and floods. Railways disadvantages expensive to construct and maintain railway tracks and stations. Expensive to construct and maintain railway tracks and stations. Railways less flexible, fixed routes and timings. Next, not suitable for very short distances or remote hilly regions. Ever airways at disadvantages. Most expensive mode of transport, affected by adverse weather conditions causing delays or cancellations, limited capacity for carrying bulky goods. Airways a disadvantage, most expensive mode of transport, affected by adverse weather conditions causing delays or cancellations, limited capacity for carrying bulky goods. One next, waterways, disadvantages. Very slow mode of transport, not suitable for areas away from rivers or coasts. Navigable routes depend on weather and water depth affected by floods or droughts. Waterways are disadvantage की very slow mode of transport, not suitable for areas away from rivers or coasts. Navigable routes depend on weather and water depth affected by floods or droughts. Next, which type of transport would you prefer if you plan to visit a remote village about 30 kilometers from your residence? Give reason. I would prefer road transport reasons. Roads provide door to door service and are more suitable for short distances. They can reach remote villages, whereas railways and airways are not available. Where airways and railways are not available. Roads are flexible and allow travel at any time. Chief functions of the following agencies ever. NHAI, National Highways Authority of India, National Expressways Authority of India, Inland Waterways Authority of India, National Highways Authority of India develops, maintains, and manages the national highways network, implements major highway projects such as Golden Quadrilateral and North South and East West corridors, ensures safety and quality of highway constructions. তাহলে কি বলছে ন্যাশনাল হাইওয়েজ অথরিটি অফ ইন্ডিয়া ডেভেলপস মেনটেন্স অ্যান্ড ম্যানেজেস ন্যাশনাল হাইওয়েজ নেটওয়ার্ক implements major highway projects such as Golden Quadrilateral and North South East West corridors, ensures safety and quality of highway construction. Next, National Express Authority of India এর কি কাজ? Plans, constructs and maintains expressways for high speed vehicular movement. Plans, constructs and maintains expressways for high speed vehicular movement. Aims to reduce travel time and improve connectivity between major cities. Aims to reduce travel time আর কি করে? Improve connectivity between major cities. Inland Waterways Authority of India এর কি কাজ? Maintains national waterways like NW1, National Waterway 1, National Waterway 2, NW1 হচ্ছে গঙ্গা, NW2 হচ্ছে ব্রহ্মপুত্র। The Inland Waterways Authority of India develops and maintains inland waterways for navigation and shipping, regulates traffic, ensures safe navigation, and promotes trade through waterways, maintains national waterways like NW1 Ganga, NW2 Brahmaputra. Next, advantages of railways compared to roadways. Railways are more suitable for carrying heavy and bulky goods over long distances. They are more energy efficient and economical for mass transport. less affected by weather conditions and traffic congestions, safer and more reliable than road transport for long journeys. Next, name the following. The port built to release pressure on Kolkata port, Haldia port. কোন পোর্টটা বিল্ড করা হয়েছে to release pressure on Kolkata port, Haldia port? The largest port of India, Mumbai port. The most mechanized port of India, Visakhapatnam port. A tidal port in the run of Kutch, Kandla port. The port on the lagoon in Kerala, Kochi port. A port on the west coast significant for iron ore exports, Mormugao port. The oldest artificial harbor in India, Chennai port. The government owned helicopter service in India, Pavan Hans. The river associated with National Waterway 2, River Brahmaputra. The deepest landlocked port and shipbuilding center, Vishakhapatnam port. The port built to release pressure on Kolkata port, Haldia port, the largest port of India, Mumbai port, the most mechanized port of India, Vishakhapatnam port, a tidal port in the run of Kutch, Kandla port, the port on the lagoon of Kerala, Kochi port, a port on the west coast significant for iron ore exports, Marmagao port, the oldest artificial harbour in India, Chennai port, the government-owned helicopter service in India, Pavan Hans, the river associated with national waterway to River Brahmaputra, the deepest landlocked port and shipbuilding center, Vishakhapatnam port. I repeat, the port built to release pressure on Kolkata port, Haldia port, the largest port of India, Mumbai port, the most mechanized port of India, Visakhapatnam port, a tidal port in Rann of Kutch, Kandla port, the port on lagoon in Kerala, Kochi port, a port on the west coast significant for iron exports, Marmagao port, the oldest artificial harbour in India, Chennai port, the government owned helicopter services in India, Pavana is the river associated with National Waterway 2, River Brahmaputra, the deepest landlocked port and shipbuilding center, Visakhapatnam port. Next, state the respective extensions of the North South Corridor and East West Corridor. North South Corridor connects Srinagar in Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Srinagar to Kanyakumari, including a spar to Kochi. শ্রীনগর থেকে কন্যাকুমারীকে কানেক্ট করে নর্থ সাউথ করিডোর আর ইস্ট ওয়েস্ট করিডোর শিলচর টু পোরবান্দর। এটাকে এইভাবে মনে রাখা যেতে পারে, এনএস শ্রীকা আর ইডব্লিউ শিল্প। এনএস শ্রীকা আর ইডব্লিউ শিল্প। কিভাবে? নর্থ সাউথ করিডোর কানেক্ট শ্রীনগর টু কন্যাকুমারী আর ইস্ট ওয়েস্ট করিডোর কানেক্ট শিলচর টু পোরবান্দর। শিল্প হয় না, তো শিলচর টু পোরবান্দর। Next, which of the two is longer and why? North-South corridor is longer from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. Reason, it covers the entire length of India from northernmost to the southernmost part, while the east-west corridor crosses a comparatively smaller breadth of the country. Silchar to Porbandar, it covers the smaller breadth of the country. What is their significance? They are মানে নর্থ সাউথ ইস্ট ওয়েস্ট করিডোর, নর্থ সাউথ শ্রীকা আর ইস্ট ওয়েস্ট শিল্প। What is their significance? They are part of National Highways Development Project. National Highways Development Project. Improve connectivity between major cities and ports. Reduce travel time and promote economic growth. Facilitate faster movement of goods and passengers across the country. Encourage balanced regional development by linking remote areas. Encourage balanced regional development by linking remote areas. Next, which of the following statements best defines waste? Any substance that no longer serves any purpose and is discarded, including objects in solid, liquid, or gaseous form. Any substance that no longer serves any purpose and is discarded, including objects in solid, liquid, or gaseous forms. যাই ট্রান্সপোর্ট চ্যাপ্টারটা শেষ হয়ে গেল, গোল্ডেন কোয়াড্রিল্যাটারাল নিয়ে বললো না, বলে দিই। কাভার্স roughly 5846 kilometers, কানেক্টিং ফোর মেজর মেট্রোপলিটন সিটিজ। এই গোল্ডেন কোয়াড্রিল্যাটারালটা কানেক্ট করে ফোর মেজর মেট্রোপলিটন সিটিজ অফ চেন্নাই, দিল্লি, মুম্বাই, কলকাতা। চেন্নাই মানে অ্যালফাবেটিক্যাল অর্ডারে চেন্নাই, দিল্লি, মুম্বাই, কলকাতা। It is one of the largest highway projects managed by the National Highways Authority of India. This is Golden Quadrilateral. It connects four major metropolitan cities of Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, and Kolkata. It is one of the largest highway projects managed by National Highways Authority of India. Jayok, let us come back to this waste. Which one of the following statements best defines waste? Any substance that no longer serves any purpose and is discarded, including objects in solid, liquid, or gaseous forms, are called waste. Next question. Leaching of pollutants from garbage dumps may cause groundwater pollution. Next, which of the following is not a consequence of improper waste dumping? Decrease in groundwater level. Decrease in groundwater level is not a consequence of improper waste dumping. The improper waste dumping এর জন্য কখনোই groundwater level কমে না। Next, composting is a safe method of reducing waste. Composting is a safe method of reducing waste. Eutrophication কি? The enrichment of water with nitrates and phosphates, leading to algal bloom and subsequent oxygen depletion. তাহলে enrichment of water with nitrates and phosphates, নাইট্রেট আর ফসফেটে যখন জলটা ভরে যায় তখন অ্যালগাল ব্লুম হয় আর অক্সিজেন ডিপ্লেশন হয়। তাহলে when water gets মানে water gets accumulates a lot of nitrates and phosphates leading to algal bloom, subsequent oxygen depletion is called eutrophication. Next, which of the following is a major consequence of oil spills? Oil spills can cause irreparable damage to marine ecosystem, affect fishing and tourism. Oil spills কি করে? Cause irreparable damage to marine ecosystem and affects fishing and tourism. Oil spills এটাই করে, marine ecosystem কে শেষ করে দেয়। Next, radioactive wastes are generated during which of the following processes? Nuclear fission in atomic power station. Radioactive wastes are generated during which of the following processes? Nuclear fission in atomic power station. Fusion এ কিন্তু না, fission এ হয়। Radioactive wastes generated হয়। Next question, which of the following statements is correct in the context of waste and health hazards? Lead is a serious pollutant released by vehicles which affects children's brain. Lead is a serious pollutant released by vehicles which affects children's brain. Next question, which of the following best describes the process of magnification? The process by which toxins such as pesticides get progressively concentrated in the tissue of organisms at higher levels in a food chain. কি বলছে? Following describes the process of biomagnification. Biomagnification কি? The process by which toxins such as pesticides gets concentrated in the tissue of organisms at higher levels in a food chain is called biomagnification. Next, which of the following statements correctly describes the impact of radioactive wastes? Since radioactive wastes remain active for several years, they can cause irreparable damage to health. Since radioactive wastes remain active for several years, they can cause irreparable damage to health. Next, answer the following questions briefly. Describe waste. Mention some common ways in which waste is generated at home. Waste is any material that no longer serves a useful purpose and is discarded. Common source at home কি কি ওয়েস্টের? কিচেন ওয়েস্ট যেমন ফুড স্ক্র্যাপস, ভেজিটেবল পিলস, প্যাকেজিং materials, plastic bottles, paper, old clothes and electronic wastes. Next, explain how the Industrial Revolution initiated uncontrolled waste generation globally. The Industrial Revolution led to rapid urbanization, mass production, and use of biodegradable materials. This caused large scale industrial and domestic waste generation, often without proper disposal methods, leading to pollution and health hazards. বলছে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল রেভলিউশন কি করেছে, র্যাপিড আরবানাইজেশন তৈরি করেছে, মাস প্রোডাকশন তৈরি করেছে, ইউজ অফ নন বায়োডিগ্রেডেবল ম্যাটেরিয়ালস তৈরি করেছে। দিস কজড লার্জ স্কেল ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল অ্যান্ড ডোমেস্টিক ওয়েস্ট জেনারেশন। এটার জন্য হয়েছে কি ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল আর ডোমেস্টিক ওয়েস্ট জেনারেশন হয়ে গেছে, often without proper disposal methods leading to pollution and health hazards. প্রপার ডিসপোজাল মেথড পালন করা হয়নি, তাতে পলিউশন আর হেলথ হ্যাজার্ড হয়ে গেছে। নেক্সট, discuss how waste accumulation may lead to degeneration of landscape. Accumulated waste causes landfills, unpleasant scenery, and soil contamination. It degrades soil fertility, harms vegetation, and reduces the aesthetic and ecological value of the environment, leading to landscape degradation. কি বলছে? Accumulated waste causes landfills, unpleasant scenery, and soil contamination. It degrades soil fertility, harms vegetation, and reduces aesthetic and ecological value of the environment, leading to landscape degeneration. Next question. Explain the water pollution. State three important sources each of air pollution and water pollution. Pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the environment that can adversely affect the living organisms and ecosystem. Sources of air pollution: vehicle emission, industrial smoke, burning of fossil fuels. এবার sources of water pollution কি? Industrial effluents, domestic sewage, agricultural runoff containing fertilizers and pesticides. Next, radioactive wastes are generated during which of the following processes? Nuclear fission. In atomic power station, radioactive wastes are produced when uranium and plutonium atoms are split in nuclear reactors during fission. These wastes remain radioactive for thousands of years and require safe disposal. Next, which of the following statements is correct in the context of waste and health hazards? Lead is a serious pollutant released by vehicles which affects children's brain. Lead is a serious pollutant released by vehicles which affects children's brain. Explanation: lead from vehicle exhausts and old paints is a neurotoxin that affects brain development in children, causing learning disabilities and behavioral problems. Radioactive wastes are generated through during which of the following processes? Nuclear fission in atomic power station. Radioactive wastes are produced when uranium or plutonium atoms are split in nuclear reactors during fission. These wastes remain radioactive for thousands of years and require safe disposal. Next, which of the following statements is correct in the context of waste and health hazard? Lead is a serious pollutant released by vehicles which affects children's brain. Lead from vehicle exhaust and old paints is a neurotoxin that affects brain development in children, causing learning disabilities and behavioral problems. Lead from vehicle exhausts and old paints is a neurotoxic that affects brain development for in children, causing learning disabilities and behavioral problems. Next, which of the following best describes the process of biomagnification? Process by which toxins such as pesticides get progressively concentrated in the tissues of organisms at higher levels in food chain. They also have small organisms containing toxins are eaten by larger ones. The concentration of these toxins increases at each step in the food chain. For example, DDT builds up in birds and fish. Next question. Which of the following statements correctly describes the impact of radioactive wastes? Since the radioactive wastes remain active for several years, they can cause impermeable damage to health, irreparable damage to health, Which of the following statements correctly describes the impact of radioactive wastes? Since the radioactive wastes remain active for several years, they can cause irreparable damage to health. Radioactive materials emit harmful rays that can cause cancer, genetic mutations, and environmental contamination lasting centuries. Next, define waste. Mention some common ways in which waste is generated at home. Kitchen waste, vegetable peels, leftover food, plastic waste kiki, plastic waste like bottles and wrappers, paper waste, old newspapers and packaging, electronic waste, old gadgets and batteries. Explain how industrial revolution initiated uncontrolled waste generation globally. Industrial revolution introduced large scale manufacturing, urbanization and use of machines that this led to mass production of good and excessive use of raw materials, increased release of factory smoke and effluents, rise in non-biodegradable industrial and chemical wastes. Ever discuss how waste accumulation may lead to degeneration of landscape. Waste accumulation spoils the beauty and fertility of land by blocking drainage and causing waterlogging, reducing soil fertility and causing due to toxic chemicals, reducing soil fertility due to toxic chemicals, producing foul smell and attracting disease carrying pests, making the land unsuitable for agriculture or habitation. Next question. Explain the word pollution. Pollution is the contamination of the environment by harmful substances that affect the living organisms and natural resources. Pollution is the contamination of environment by harmful substances that affect living organisms and natural resources. Sources of air pollution, vehicle exhaust, যেমন কার্বন মোনোক্সাইড আর lead, industrial emissions যেমন সালফার ডাইঅক্সাইড আর নাইট্রোজেন অক্সাইড, বার্নিং অফ ফসিল ফুয়েলস অ্যান্ড গার্বেজ। এবার সোর্সেস অফ ওয়াটার পলিউশন কি কি? ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল এফ্লুয়েন্টস রিলিজড ইন্টু দ্য রিভার্স, agricultural runoff containing fertilizers and pesticides, domestic sewage and plastic waste dumped into water bodies. Vehicle exhaust যেমন কার্বন মোনোক্সাইড অ্যান্ড lead, industrial emissions সালফার ডাইঅক্সাইড and নাইট্রোজেন অক্সাইড, বার্নিং অফ ফসিল ফুয়েলস অ্যান্ড গার্বেজ। এবার সোর্সেস অফ ওয়াটার পলিউশন, ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল effluents released into the rivers, agricultural runoff containing fertilizers and pesticides, domestic sewage and plastic waste dumped into water bodies. Next, what are greenhouse gases? Give some examples. Greenhouse gases are gases present in the Earth's atmosphere that trap heat and prevent it from escaping into space, thus maintaining the planet's temperature. Examples: carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, water vapor, and ozone. Next, two major sources of greenhouse gases: burning of fossil fuels like coal, petrol, natural gas, deforestation and decomposition of organic waste. Next question: why are greenhouse gases harmful for the environment? Less accumulation of these gases cause global warming and climate change, leading to melting of glaciers, rising sea levels, unpredictable weather patterns, and loss of biodiversity. About dust domes key. Dust dome is a layer of dust and air pollutants trapped over urban areas due to tall buildings and lack of air circulation. Dust dome হচ্ছে layer of dust and air pollution trapped over urban areas due to tall buildings and lack of air circulation. দিয়ে বলছে they occur mainly over large cities because the rising warm air from industrial and vehicular heat gets trapped by temperature inversion, forming a dome-shaped pollution cover. Next, what is smog? Why is it harmful? Smog is a mixture of smoke and fog formed when pollutants like nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbons react in sunlight. It causes breathing difficulties, eye irritation, reduced visibility, and damage to crops and buildings. What is smog? Why is it harmful? Smog is a mixture of smoke and fog formed when pollutants like nitrogen oxide and hydrocarbons react in sunlight. It causes breathing difficulties, eye irritation, reduced visibility, and damage to crops and buildings. Next, industrial gaseous wastes key. Name some gaseous wastes emitted by industries: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and hydrocarbons. Some gaseous wastes emitted by industries হচ্ছে carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and hydrocarbons. Next, state one adverse effect of each of the following. কার্বন ডাইঅক্সাইডের ক্ষতি কি করে? Contributes to global warming. Carbon monoxide, poisonous gas that affects living organisms. Sulfur dioxide causes acid rain and damages vegetation. Nitrogen oxide causes smog and acid rain. Hydrocarbons contribute to photochemical smog formation. এবার effects of waste accumulation of animals. How terrestrial animals like stray dogs, cows, and pigs get adversely affected from waste accumulation. Effect of waste accumulation of animals. How terrestrial animals like stray dogs, cows, and pigs get adversely affected from waste accumulation. Animals feeding on waste may consume plastics or toxic materials, leading to choking, poisoning, infections, and even death. Stagnant waste also becomes breeding ground for flies and diseases that affect both animals and humans. Acid rain. How is acid rain associated with air pollution? Acid rain is formed when pollutants such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide released from industries and vehicles mix with atmospheric moisture to form sulfuric and nitric acids. Acid rain is formed when pollutants such as SO2, NO, released from industries and vehicles mix with atmosphere mixture to form sulfuric and nitric acids. Next, discuss some harmful effects of acid rain. Lowers the pH of soil, affecting plant growth, corrodes buildings, monuments, and metal structures, pollutes rivers and lakes, killing aquatic life, irritates skin and eyes in humans, lowers the pH of soil, affecting plant growth, corrodes buildings, monuments, metal structures, pollutes rivers and lakes, killing aquatic life, irritates skin and eyes in humans. এবার industrial effluents কি? What do you mean by industrial effluents? Industrial effluents are liquid wastes discharged from factories containing harmful chemicals, heavy metals, and organic pollutants. Industrial effluents are liquid wastes discharged from factories containing harmful chemicals, heavy metals, and organic pollutants. Key mention to impacts of key effluents on aquatic life. Depletion of oxygen leading to death of fish. Toxic chemicals enter food chains causing biomagnification. Next, oil spill key. Mention two common causes of oil spill: leakage from oil tankers or offshore drilling rigs, accidents during transportation or loading of oil. Next, discuss some significant impacts of oil spill on marine environment. Oil forms a thin layer on water, blocking sunlight and reducing oxygen levels. Marine organisms such as fish, birds, and corals suffocate or get poisoned. Next, long term pollution of beaches and coastal areas. Next, damage to fishing industries and local livelihoods. তাহলে common causes of oil spill হচ্ছে leakage from oil tankers or offshore drilling rigs, accident during transportation or loading of oil. Are some important impacts of oil spill on marine environment. Have oil forms a thin layer on the water, blocking sunlight and reducing oxygen levels. Marine organisms such as fish, bird, and coral suffocates or get poisoned. Long-term pollution of beaches and coastal areas, and impact of oil spill, damage to fishing industries and local livelihoods. Next, waste accumulation and groundwater. Explain how waste accumulation can impact groundwater reserves adversely. When solid or liquid wastes are dumped on land, toxic substances seep into the soil and contaminate groundwater. This leads to unsafe drinking water, spread of waterborne diseases, and damage to agricultural productivity. Next, agricultural wastes. Explain how wastes from agricultural field pollute the environment, pollute the ecosystem. Excess use of fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides run off into the rivers and ponds, using eutrophication and water pollution. Excess use of fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides run off into rivers and ponds, causing eutrophication and water pollution. Burning of crop residue increases air pollution. Burning of crop residue increases air pollution. আর কি? The chemicals also affect soil fertility and that is beneficial for organisms. Fertility and kill beneficial organisms. Next, waste reduction at school and home. State three ways in which you as a student can initiate reduction of waste in school and at domestic level. Segregate biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Reduce notebooks, bottles and containers. Remote paper cycling and reduce use of plastics. Organize cleanliness drives and awareness campaigns. কি কিভাবে biodegradable non biodegradable আচ্ছা in ways as a student you can initiate reduction of waste in school in domestic level. Reuse notebooks, bottles and containers, remote paper cycling and reduce use of plastics, organize cleanliness drives and awareness campaigns. Next, explain the following terms. Eutrophication, excessive enrichment of water bodies with nutrients like nitrates and phosphates, leading to overgrowth of algae and depletion of oxygen. कि excessive enrichment of water bodies with nutrients like nitrates and phosphates, leading to overgrowth of algae and depletion of oxygen. Where biomagnification की gradual increase in concentration of toxic substances in organisms at each higher level of the food chain. Gradual increase in concentration of toxic substances in organisms at each level of food chain. Next, suspended particulate matter की any solid or liquid particles suspended in air that cause respiratory problems and reduce visibility. Tiny solid or liquid particles suspended in air that cause respiratory problems and reduce visibility. Next, sewage key wastewater from household industries and other sources containing organic matter and harmful pathogens. সেটাই sewage. Minamata disease কি neurological disorder caused by mercury poisoning first detected in Minamata, Japan due to industrial effluents. Next, one adverse impact of each in ecosystem. Burning of wood, deforestation and air pollution. Nuclear radiation causes genetic disorders and cancer. Increase in carbon dioxide level, global warming and climatic change. Sulfur dioxide, increase in sulfur dioxide, acid rain formation. Chlorofluorocarbons, ozone layer depletion. Suspended particulate matter, uh, respiratory disease in humans and animals. DDT, biomagnification and poisoning of birds and fish. Oil spills, marine pollution and death of aquatic species. Heavy metals, toxicity in plants and animals. Burning of solid waste, air pollution and emission of harmful gases. এবার give suitable reasons. Open dumps pose health hazards to people living in the vicinity because they attract flies, mosquitoes, and rodents that spread diseases and release foul smell and toxic gases. Next, unleaded petroleum should not be sold in market. Why? Unleaded petrol releases lead particles into the air, causing brain and nerve damage in humans. Next, rapid pace of urbanization increases the rate of waste management. More people and industries in cities produce large amount of domestic and industrial waste. Next, Ganga is one of the most polluted rivers of the world due to discharge of untreated waste, industrial effluents, cremation waste, and religious offerings. Due to discharge of untreated sewage, industrial effluents, cremation waste, and religious offerings. Next, farmers should avoid and restrict the use of agrochemicals. Why? Because excessive use pollutes soil and water, kills beneficial insects, and affects human health through food chain. Because excessive use pollutes soil and water, kills beneficial insects, and affects human health through food chain. Next, state one adverse impact of each of the four, each on the ecosystem. Sewage contamination is potentially dangerous. একটা adverse effect on ecosystem. Sewage contamination is dangerous. Sewage contains harmful bacteria, virus, and organic matter. When released untreated into the water bodies, it causes water pollution, spreads diseases like cholera and dysentery, and reduces oxygen level, killing aquatic organisms. Next, human activities are responsible for death of numerous seabirds and marine animals. Activities like oil drilling, ship movement, dumping of plastic waste in oceans lead to oil spills and ingestion of plastic by marine life. This causes suffocation, poisoning, and death of seabirds, dolphins, whales, and other sea animals. But why? Marine birds get severely affected by oil spills. All oil coats their feathers, making them heavy and unable to fly or float, reduces their insulation capacity. Birds often die of hypothermia, starvation, or drowning. Ingestion during cleaning also leads to poisoning. Never oil coats their feathers, making them heavy and unable to fly or float, reduces their insulation capacity. Birds often die of hypothermia, starvation, or drowning. Oil ingestion during cleaning also leads to poisoning. এবার incidences of cancer on the rise in the modern world, increased exposure to industrial chemicals, pesticides, radiation, heavy metals that led to rise in mutations and carcinogenic effects, resulting in higher rates of cancer in humans. Next, global warming is a big cause of concern for humanity. Excess greenhouse gas trap heat, causing rising global temperatures, melting glaciers, sea level rise, heat waves, and disturbances in agriculture and weather patterns, endangering both ecosystem and human life. Next, state one adverse impact of each of the or each on the ecosystem. Hector adverse impact. Sewage contamination is potentially dangerous. Can untreated sewage carries harmful microorganisms and organic matter. When released into rivers or lakes, it depletes dissolved oxygen. And untreated waste হচ্ছে depletes dissolved oxygen আর কেন sewage contamination dangerous? কারণ it depletes dissolved oxygen, kills aquatic life, and spread waterborne diseases such as cholera and typhoid among humans. Next question. Human activities are responsible for the death of numerous seabirds and marine animals. Cano. Industrial discharges, oil spills, dumping of plastics, chemical wastes by humans pollute oceans. Marine animals ingest or get entangled in waste materials, while oil spills on water cause suffocation and poisoning, resulting in large scale deaths. Marine birds get severely affected by oil spills. Why? Marine birds' oil sticking to feathers destroy their waterproofing and insulating ability, causing loss of buoyancy and flight. Birds often die of cold, starvation, or toxicity after ingesting oil while cleaning themselves. Ever incidences of cancer on the rise in the modern world. Prolonged exposure to industrial pollutants, pesticides, tobacco smoke, radiation, heavy metals introduces carcinogen in the body. This causes genetic mutations and uncontrolled cell growth leading to cancer. Ever global warming ki global warming is a big cause of concern for humanity. Excess greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to rising global temperature. Melting of ice caps, sea level rise, extreme weather events, and serious threats to agriculture, biodiversity, and human health. Next, choose the correct answers to the questions from the given options. Which of the following statements state the need for effective waste management strategies? কি কারণে মনে হচ্ছে যে effective waste management strategy দরকার? Unstable pattern of production and consumption generate huge quantities of waste. Rapid industrialization overconsumption create excessive waste, so effective management is necessary to protect the environment and conserve resources. Next, the best way to reduce e-waste is by recycling. Recycling electronic waste helps recover valuable metals and reduces harmful effects on soil and water. Next, segregation allows waste to be reduced, reused, recycled efficiently by preventing contamination and improving resource recovery. The best way to reduce e-waste is by recycling. Recycling electronic waste helps recover valuable metals and reduces harmful effects on soil and water. Recycling electronic waste কি করে? Helps recover valuable metals. রিকভার করতে সাহায্য করে ভ্যালুয়েবল মেটাল, রিডিউস হার্মফুল এফেক্টস অন সয়েল অ্যান্ড ওয়াটার। এবার segregation allows waste to be reduced, reused, and recycled efficiently, preventing contamination and improving resource recovery. Next, what is an important factor in the selection of sanitary landfills to avoid contamination? Clay soil prevents leachate from seeping into the ground, thus protecting groundwater from contamination. না না, এটা ঠিক আনসার নয়। Site selection for sanitary landfills to avoid contamination. এটা কি শুধুই clay soil prevents leachate from seeping into the ground, thus protecting groundwater from contamination? সেই জন্য clay soil sanitary landfill বানানো উচিত। Next, what is the main purpose of soil cover in sanitary landfill? Order. The soil cover helps control foul odors, reduces pest breeding, and provides a cleaner landfill surface. Next, the process by which bacteria decompose organic biodegradable wastes in the presence of oxygen, aerobic composting. Next, aerobic composting key. In aerobic composting, microorganisms break down organic matter using oxygen, forming nutrient rich compost. Next, which of the following is not relevant to composting? Reduces inorganic waste. Composting deals with organic waste only. Inorganic materials like plastics and metals cannot be composted. Next, which of the following is an example of reuse? Using newspaper to wrap books. Reuse means using an item again for another purpose without processing, such as old newspaper for wrapping. Next, what type of waste do masks and gloves fall under? Biomedical wastes. Masks and gloves are considered biomedical wastes as they can be contaminated with germs and require safe disposal. Next, what is the key to efficient waste management? Segregation. Segregation of waste at the source into biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and recyclable waste allows for proper treatment, recycling, and disposal. Answer the following questions. What do we understand by waste management? What is its importance? Waste management is the process of collecting, transporting, processing, disposing of waste materials in a safe and eco friendly manner. Importance: it helps reduce pollution, conserves resources, prevents diseases, and ensures a cleaner and healthier environment. Next, explain how the significance of waste management changed with onset of industrial revolution. Before the industrial revolution, waste generation was minimal and mostly biodegradable. With industrialization, large scale production led to increased industrial and non biodegradable waste, making proper waste management essential to prevent environmental degradation. Next question: enumerate some of the benefits of waste management on environment. Reduces pollution of air, water, and soil, promotes recycling and reuse of materials, conserves natural resources and energy, pre- prevents spread of diseases. Next, helps maintain ecological balance. Next, explain segregation of waste. On what basis are wastes most commonly segregated? Segregation of waste means separating different kinds of waste for proper disposal and cycling. Waste is commonly segregated as biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste, hazardous waste. Whereas a biodegradable waste is a kitchen waste, paper. Non-biodegradable waste is a plastic, glass, metal. Hazardous waste is a chemicals, batteries, medical waste. Next, give two examples of each of the following. Solid waste, plastic bottles, paper. Liquid waste, sewage, oil. Biodegradable waste, food peels, leaves. Non-biodegradable waste, glass, plastic. Wet waste, vegetable waste আর leftover food হচ্ছে wet waste মানে ভিজে। আর dry waste, paper আর cardboard. Hazardous waste, paint, expired medicines. State 2 devices used to improve impurities in air: electrostatic precipitator, scrubber, air filters. Electrostatic precipitator, scrubbers, air filters. Name two diseases associated with air pollution in busy cities and towns: asthma, bronchitis. Next question: waste disposal can be broadly handled into two ways: land based disposal, non land based disposal. Land based disposal includes landfilling and composting, where waste is buried or decomposed. Non land based disposal includes recycling, incineration, and waste to energy processes. Next, explain the process of waste disposal by landfilling. Waste is dumped into low lying areas, spread in layers, and compacted. Each layer is covered with soil to minimize odor and pest problems. Next, what is the importance of soil cover in this method of solid waste disposal? The soil cover prevents odor, controls pests, and avoids contamination of groundwater. Next, explain composting. Composting is a biological process in which microorganisms decompose biodegradable waste into organic manure. Composting at a biological process যেখানে microorganism decompose হয়ে যায় biodegradable waste তা organic manure পরিবর্তন হয়ে যায়. What type of waste is suitable for composting? Biodegradable wastes like leftover foods, leaves and paper are suitable for composting. Next, discuss the chief benefits of composting as a method of waste disposal. reduces waste volume, produces natural fertilizer, enhances, enriches soil fertility. Next, how is vermicomposting different from composting? Vermicomposting uses earthworms to decompose organic waste faster, producing nutrient rich manure where composting depends on microorganisms. What is biogas? Why is it useful? Biogas is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide produced by decomposition of organic waste in the absence of oxygen. It is useful as a fuel for cooking, lighting and generating electricity. Mixture of methane and carbon dioxide মানে CH4 আর CO2 এই দুই দিয়ে বায়োগ্যাস হয়. What is আচ্ছা, explain how biogas can be produced by the process of composting. In anaerobic composting, organic waste is broken down by bacteria without oxygen, releasing methane gas, which is collected as biogas. Anaerobic composting এ organic waste কে broken down করা হয় ব্যাকটেরিয়া দিয়ে without oxygen, releasing methane gas, which is collected as biogas. এবার what is biomedical waste? যে waste generated from hospitals, clinics and laboratories such as syringes, gloves, bandages and medicines. Next, why is their safe disposal mandatory? Because they may contain infectious agents that can spread diseases and contaminate the environment. Next, why are toxic wastes so called? Toxic wastes contain harmful chemicals that are poisonous to living organisms. For example, pesticides and radioactive waste. Next, what is e waste? Why is e waste a growing menace in the modern world? E waste refers to discarded electronic devices like computers, mobile phones, and televisions. It is a growing menace due to rapid technological advancement, short product life, and harmful metals like lead and mercury. Discuss some initiatives taken by the Government of India for efficient and safe disposal of waste. Swachh Bharat Mission for Cleanliness and Waste Segregation. Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 to ban single use plastic. E-Waste Management Rules 2016 for recycling electronic waste. Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 for segregation and scientific disposal. কি বলছে স্বচ্ছ ভারত মিশন ফর ক্লিননেস অ্যান্ড ওয়েস্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট, এটা একটা প্লাস্টিক ওয়েস্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট রুলস 2016 to ban single use plastics, e-waste management rules 2016 for recycling electronic waste, solid waste management rules 2016 for segregation and scientific disposal. Next, discuss at least 4 ways in which you as a student can reduce waste and contribute towards a cleaner environment. Avoid single use plastics. Reuse notebooks and bottles. Segregate waste in school and home. Participate in cleanliness drives and awareness campaigns. Why should we stop the use of plastics? Plastics are non biodegradable, choke drains, pollute soil and water, and harm animals. How can we replace plastic with? What can we replace plastic with? Give examples. We can replace plastics with biodegradable alternatives like jute bags, paper cups, and cloth bags. Next, explain giving examples how can we minimize or reduce waste generation. Practice 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. Bus only, buy only what is necessary. Compost kitchen waste. Donate old books, clothes, and electronics instead of throwing them away. Next, explain recycling as a method of reducing waste. Recycling is the process of converting used or waste materials into new useful products. Reduces the amount of waste that ends up in landfills and saves raw materials and energy. Mention some materials that can be effectively recycled. Paper, glass, metals, plastics and e-waste components can be effectively recycled. State how recycling helps in resource management. Recycling conserves natural resources by reducing the need for New raw materials lowers energy consumption and minimizes environmental pollution. What do you mean by reuse of products? Reuse means using a product again for the same or different purpose instead of discarding it. যেমন using old jars to store grains to you or using scrap paper for rough work. Next, what are the main benefits associated with reuse? Reduces waste generation, saves money and resources, decreases pollution from manufacturing, extends the life of products. Next, how has COVID-19 pandemic worsened the waste accumulation scenario in India? Increased use of masks, gloves, PPE kits led to rise in biomedical and plastic wastes. Many waste disposal systems became overburdened. Improper disposal of used protective gear caused contamination and health risks. Recycling activities slowed due to lockdowns and restrictions. Give reasons for the following. Minimization of waste generation is an important step towards efficient waste management because less waste means easier handling, reduced pollution, and lower disposal costs. সেই জন্য যত ওয়েস্টকে মিনিমাইজ করে দেওয়া যায় ততই মঙ্গল বিকজ লেস ওয়েস্ট for easy handling, reduced pollution, and lower disposal cost. Segregation of waste is the first step towards successful waste management because separating biodegradable and non biodegradable waste ensures proper recycling, composting, and disposal. Non biodegradable waste is less harmful for environment because it decomposes naturally into harmless substances like manure. Non biodegradable wastes can should never be dumped into the landfill because they do not decompose and can release toxic chemicals polluting soil and groundwater. Next, chances of groundwater contamination is less in sanitary landfills. Why? Because they have clay or plastic liners that prevent leachate from seeping underground. Next, sewage drains must be kept well maintained in every household. Why? To prevent waterlogging, foul smell, and spread of diseases. Next, conscious consumerism is the need for the hour. Why? Because mindful buying reduces overconsumption and promotes sustainable living. Next, social media plays an important role in waste management. How? It spreads awareness, educates people, and promotes participation in cleanliness campaigns. Next, composting should be encouraged to reduce the use of toxic chemical fertilizers. How? Because composting provides organic manure that enriches soil naturally. Next, a banana peel and a plastic bottle should never be discarded in the same waste bin. Why? Because biodegradable and non biodegradable wastes require different disposal methods. Next, explain the following terms: incineration, burning of waste at high temperatures to reduce its volume and destroy harmful substances. What is bioremediation? Use of microorganisms to remove pollutants or toxins from soil or water. What are effluents? Liquid waste or discharge from factories, industries, or sewage system. Next, sludge. What is sludge? Semi solid waste that remains after treatment of sewage or industrial effluents. Next, what is refuse? General term for unwanted or discarded solid waste materials. Next, what is carbon footprint? Total amount of greenhouse gases emitted by human activities measured in units of carbon dioxide. Next, what is contamination, pollution, or degradation of air, water, or soil by harmful substances? Next, what is vermicomposting? Composting processes using earthworms to convert organic waste into nutrient rich manure is called vermicomposting. Composting process using earthworms to convert organic waste into nutrient rich manure. Next, what is sanitary landfill? A scientifically designed landfill where waste is buried under layers of soil to prevent pollution. What is Sanitary landfill মানে scientifically designed landfill. Scientifically designed landfill where waste is buried under layers of soil to prevent pollution. What is manure? Organic matter rich in nutrients used to enrich soil and promote plant growth. Next, distinguish between each of the following: dry waste, non-biodegradable wastes like plastic, glass, metal, এগুলো সব dry waste. Waste কি? Biodegradable wastes like food and vegetable peels. এবার স্টেট, আচ্ছা সরি, সলিড ওয়েস্ট কি কি? পেপার, প্লাস্টিক, মেটালস। লিকুইড ওয়েস্ট কি কি? সিওয়েজ, অয়েল, ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল এফ্লুয়েন্টস। সিওয়েজ, অয়েল, ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল এফ্লুয়েন্টস। আচ্ছা, বায়োডিগ্রেডেবল ওয়েস্ট কি? ডিকম্পোজেস ন্যাচারালি। নন বায়োডিগ্রেডেবল ওয়েস্ট কি করে? ডাজ নট ডিকম্পোজ ইজিলি। বায়োডিগ্রেডেবল, আচ্ছা, অ্যাবায়োটিক ফ্যাক্টরস কি? নন লিভিং কম্পোনেন্টস লাইক এয়ার, সয়েল, ওয়াটার। বায়োটিক ফ্যাক্টরস কি? লিভিং কম্পোনেন্টস লাইক প্লান্টস, অ্যানিমালস, মাইক্রোবস। অ্যানারোবিক ডিকম্পোজিশন কি? অকার্স উইদাউট অক্সিজেন মানে প্রডিউসেস মিথেন। এরোবিক ডিকম্পোজিশন কি? অকার্স ইন প্রেজেন্স অফ অক্সিজেন। সিওয়েজ কি? ওয়েস্ট ওয়াটার ফ্রম হোমস অ্যান্ড ইন্ডাস্ট্রিজ। Sewerage ki? System of pipes that carries sewage. Recycling ki? Reprocessing used materials into new ones. Reuse ki? Using a product again without reprocessing.